Good evening. Welcome to Connect with Jacob Brier. I'm Jacob Brier, member of the Barrington Town Council. I'm coming to you from my home office during this period of physical distancing to stay connected with the community so we can remain socially connected while physically distant. And I've got a bit of a different format that we're trying out, trying something a little different, always looking to improve so that folks in the community find value here. And my wife is here behind the camera, and she will be asking questions as we go through the episode so that I stay a little on task, and if I'm leaving anything out that maybe I had wanted to speak about or that comes up, she can make sure I fill in those gaps. And the plan for tonight is to talk about some of the activities that have been going on as part of that have been going on in town that I'm aware of or involved in as part of my duties on the town council. So as the crisis continues, we still have the work that we do to keep our community strong and resilient and moving forward.
So Jacob, let's start, given that today is Earth Day, let's start with some news about the environment.
All right. So first, happy Earth Day, everybody. Today, as part of distance learning, our son had a few different options of what he could do, and he and Danny made Earth sugar cookies. And Soren, our son, noticed that it looked like Pangea, because you couldn't tell exactly what continents were on those cookies, but Pangea has it covered. What was interesting about reading up on anything with the environment recently is that it does tie into the crisis, and there is a positive side effect in that this year on Earth Day, the Earth was able to breathe a little bit better with so many people sheltering in place or staying at home like we are worldwide. Transportation has been down, and a lot of general pollution that goes out into the atmosphere has been reduced. We still certainly have plenty of work to do there, but let's focus on one thing at a time. But related to that is folks have been noticing, I've been noticing in person and seeing people commenting about it online, that there has been a lot of PPE litter, plastic gloves, disposable masks, things like that. As we're using some of these single-use items more and more now, we do really have to be sure that we're disposing of them carefully for two reasons. One, health. Personal health. The people who have to clean that up are now exposed to potential biohazard waste, but also for the environment. These are things that don't biodegrade easily and really need to be disposed of properly. As far as general town news related to the environment, at our last town council meeting last week, we approved the work to begin for 2 electric vehicle charging stations. One of them is going to be at Police Cove Park, and that'll be a standard level 2 charging station that'll charge a car in a few hours. And we're also going to have a high-speed one installed at Town Hall. That'll be a level 3, which is the high speed. It can charge a car to, I believe, 80% of its battery in only about a half hour. Both of those will be pay to use, and there are standard rates that apply with these charging stations that are throughout the country. And luckily, the station at Police Cove Park, because that is a commuter lot associated with the state and with RIPTA, we were able to get funding that completely pays for the installation of that there. And we were also able to get funding for 80% of the station that's going in at Town Hall. And so for a cost of about $40,000, we're able to have these 2 charging stations in that offer benefit to the community and promote green transportation.
Thank you. So moving on, I know a topic that a lot of people are generally interested in, even if they're a little, out of the loop based on the current status, but I know people are interested in what's going on with the budget. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, so the budget, the way our town budget works, kind of a quick overview of the process. The school committee with the school administration put together a budget for the school department, and that gets submitted as a single line item to the Committee on Appropriations. And the town manager and town council put forward a municipal operating budget, a capital budget, and a debt budget, a budget of municipal debt and the different financing that we have. And that all goes to the Committee on Appropriations, who is then responsible for weighing the pros and cons of various budget lines and where there are increases and where we might want to see decreases. And when they are comfortable presenting a budget, that is then used for the town as a whole. In all prior years, the town as a whole would vote at the financial town meeting, which is the fourth Wednesday in May. At our last council meeting, we did have to vote to postpone that. It is undetermined when or if we'll be able to hold that meeting as it has been held in the past, because it is a very large gathering within the town. And for public health reasons, we just knew we couldn't have it when it was scheduled. In light of this, we're waiting to receive guidance from the governor, from the potentially state legislature, on how municipalities that have financial town meetings or similar functioning budget systems, how we are going to create and implement our budget. And in doing so, before we get there, the town council has decided that we will meet, and we're actually meeting tomorrow night, to talk about the budget. When it was proposed and sent to the Committee on Appropriations, the council unanimously approved it, but this was prior to the state of emergency, prior to the financial turmoil that we know so many folks are facing. And we're not sure exactly how to handle that in the budget, but it's something that we feel is important to discuss. And so we'll be meeting tomorrow night on Zoom. If you go to the town website, you'll be able to find the agenda for that meeting and view the Zoom, or use the Zoom link so that you can view and potentially participate in that meeting, in that discussion. Yeah, so that about wraps up the budget.
So more to come on that, basically.
Yes, more to come.
All right, great. So can you let us know what's going on locally with the politics and elections?
Yes, so this is an election year. As I'm sure everybody was acutely aware before the crisis, there's a presidential election this year. If you are a registered voter, in the last day or two, you should have received from the Secretary of State an application for a mail ballot. And what the state is trying to do is get as many people as possible to receive a mail ballot so that we can have the fewest people going into polling stations as possible. That would have arrived with a return envelope. The instructions on the mail ballot say that it should be turned into your local board of canvassers, and the return address on the envelope that's provided is to Providence. Whichever you do, it will get to the people who it needs to go to. You can either fill it out and drop it off at Town Hall. There's a drop box, so you don't have to go inside. Or you can use that provided envelope, mail it into the Board of Elections, and they will get it to our Board of Canvassers. So either of those is fine. We do have local elections coming up. If anybody is interested in getting involved in local government and would like to learn a little more about what's involved or discuss what it's like to be involved in your first campaign. About 2 years ago, I started my first campaign, and I found it pretty invigorating and fortunately successful. And so if anybody would like to learn a little more about that, please reach out. The website where you can find me is up on the screen. That's about it with local politics.
So just to confirm, if somebody is a registered voter and has not received their primary mail ballot applications, they can call Town Hall?
Yes, absolutely. If if you should have received it, if you have voted in Barrington in the past, or if you have not, and you believe you are or should be a registered voter, or you would like to register to vote, call Town Hall and try to get that sorted out. The number is 401-247-1900, and the clerk's office is extension 1. The other thing you can do is check the Secretary of State's website, which is sos.ri.gov, and there's a lot of helpful information. You can look up your voter record and take it from there.
So we've covered 3 pretty big topics already. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
There is one thing I'd like to let folks know about. The Barrington Community Action Team, which you've heard me speak about before, is actually having a contest. It's a guerrilla public health campaign, and the idea here is that they will be holding a competition. You can submit your slogans for public health ads that will be spray painted in street art fashion and hung in the windows of local businesses that are closed, or if businesses that are open want to use their window space for this as well, they can. The way voting will happen is it'll be a dollar per vote, and whichever gets the most votes, those few will then go on to be painted and be hung in the windows. And all of the money raised is going to be split evenly between local charities and the local business community that's been really stalwarts for us during this period, keeping us fed, keeping us healthy, keeping us with the things that we need to have. And as we all know, there's some local charities that do tremendous work now and year round that could all use the support. And the message that it sends is terrific with the importance of public health now. And so if you go to the website, jacobbrier.com/connect, you'll be able to find links to submit your slogans, either 50 character or 100 character slogans. There are 2 categories. And that's about it for the campaign. Thank you for taking the time to connect with Jacob Brier. I'm Jacob, and I'm hoping you stay home and stay healthy. Thanks.